Hello and welcome back to our kitchen. Our guest today is Alberto Portero, a level designer, and we are going to talk a bit about this specific topic. Alberto,
hello,
nice
Marco.
to meet you.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Cinco de Mayo, almost, right? Alberto, you're Spanish?
Yes.
Right? So today, first, before we talk about games and entertainment in general, today we are going to cook a special recipe from the south of Italy. And for the first time, I think for the first time in the show, we're going to cook fresh pasta.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Cool. So the recipe is orecchiette with cime di rapa. So the cime di rapa, for whoever doesn't know, is this vegetable there. It's kind of similar to spinach, kind of. I can see people on the back saying, maybe not. But yeah, just to give you an idea. But we don't cook the leaves. That's important. So let's get cracking. So first thing first, we are going to do the pasta. Alberto, you work remotely?
Sometimes.
Going to office, going to remote?
Both.
Both.
It's
Okay.
an hybrid.
Cool. Okay, cool. So level design, when did you start doing this? Because you said to me, I didn't know I was a level designer until I found out I was a level designer. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, when I finished university, I was focusing, in fact, on programming, because I wanted to make my own games.
Okay.
So if you want to make your own games, you need to focus a little bit on everything.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
So I focused a lot on programming, but I also focused on other things like level design, game design. And when I finished my first game with some colleagues, I looked for a job, and they hired me as a level designer.
Yeah.
So from there to today, I'm a level designer.
Yeah, cool. Can I ask you to wash the cime di rapa
Yes.
for me?
Like
Why we do that? What you said was interesting. You said I was doing my game, right? You finished your game first.
Yeah.
How that happen? I mean, how was it that you started making your game, and how did that contribute to, ultimately finding a job and starting in the industry?
Yeah, so it was like a university project,
Okay.
but it happened during the pandemic.
Okay.
So I was at home, and everyone in the team was at home. And so for me, it became more like a personal project than a university project.
Yeah.
And I could dedicate a lot of time for it, because it was the pandemic and I was at home just doing nothing but working on the game. So yeah, we put a lot of effort in doing that game, and it became something I can be proud of.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
It's not perfect because it was my first game, but I'm proud of it.
What I find interesting is, we see a lot of students, coming and going and so on. And usually, the university project is not seen as something that is your trampoline for the industry, right? Mm-hmm. But it is, in fact, right?
Yeah, for me it
can
was
be.
totally.
I can ask you to cut the leaves off, please?
Yes, with the knife.
Yeah. Your university project, did it come off, as your trampoline for the career because you felt it was more personal, because you think you were guided, just luck? What do you think was the element there?
I think the element was that we put so much effort on the game that it's reached a little bit of a professional standard.
Okay.
So as I was saying, we can be proud of it, and it's really a trampoline for the people that work in the game.
Did you publish it in the end?
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's for free on Steam, and that's one of the reasons I think we got some success. Okay. Because it's free.
Okay, yeah.
It's a game that normally,
right?
it has some really good reviews,
All right.
and it's a game that could cost some money, but because we wanted the game to be a trampoline for us
Yeah,
in our career, we just decided to put this for free.
Absolutely.
And it was.
It was, yeah.
Because we got a lot of reviews. We didn't expect that many. And it was really cool. And this game served as a trampoline for me to work on the Night Witch with Super Mega Team.
Okay.
And in the Night Witch was a trampoline for me to work on Prince of Persia in Ubisoft.
You said at the beginning, and this is very interesting to me because we keep saying about this idea that, and video games especially are a strange kind of medium because they mix technique and I would say science with creativity a lot. I mean, it's probably the only form of art that does that, right? And you said, I'm a very technical person. There's a lot more professions now in video games industry in general that are mixing that, right? Technical artist, and VFX artist, which means there's a lot of both, technical and artist element. What do you think about this, roles, and how do you feel that, that they are emerging a lot in the industry?
I kind of love it.
Okay.
Because I'm a really technical level designer, and I, like with my profile, I get to work on really different topics. I can work on levels from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
In like the conception of the level, the idea, the feeling I want to give with the level. But I can also work on prototyping some gameplay.
Tell us a bit more about this level design. How, because you said to me earlier, there's artistic level designers looking at more the cosmetic part, and I'm more like into the mechanics.
Yes.
So level design, I thought was okay. Level design is a specialization, but then within level design you have other specializations as well, right?
Totally. There are more technical designers like me or some colleagues I have. And there are others that are more focused on the artistic part.
Okay.
And I think that's really cool to have both profiles on teams normally, because you can learn from other people what you are missing. And I'm really more like a gameplay level designer. I love really games that are really polished in terms of gameplay.
Okay.
You know what you're gonna do in every moment of the game. But I have some colleagues that focus a lot on, creating an appealing scene. For example, that leads you to the goal, and that's really important too. And I think everyone tries to learn from everyone, and then it's really important to have different profiles in the same project.
Well, one thing it might be interesting to cover is you have worked with both a gigantic team or like a very big team, basically on your own with a few people on your first game, and with a sort of medium-sized team.
Yeah.
In this different types of teams, do you still have all these roles, or you still have to cover a lot more when you're like in smaller teams?
Yeah, when you're in a smaller team, for sure you need to cover a lot more roles in general. I have the luck that I had really good colleagues normally, but in a smaller teams, you always have to cover a lot of different roles. In my first game, Way to Yaatra, I covered programming, level design, game design. I even worked with the audio team, integrating the audio, creating the systems for the audio. It's something really special that you don't really learn anywhere.
Well, one thing is always, going to be criticized, I guess, in games like where you have a lot of level design is difficulty. How do you manage difficulty in games that rely a lot on being easy or hard? As a level designer, what's your role in that process?
I think it really depends on the game normally, because there are some really cool games that they really focus on difficulty. Like for example, Celeste. I was telling you before.
Celeste,
I love this game, but it's really hard. And even if it's really hard, they manage the difficulty really good. and they also have really good accessibility options too. And yeah, for me, it's normally you want to understand your game,
Yeah.
to understand the difficulty and how you manage the difficulty curve to be just playable.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And you need to know your audience and your target to to know which difficulty are you aiming for.
Well, I guess in terms of target audience, it is always very important to think about that. But in big teams, how is that transferred? How much is your input and how much is like, okay, I've got to follow this pattern.
Yeah, so you normally have a brief knowledge about what you need to do. Like, we need some. You have some reference. Like when, for example, if we are in the last part of the game, we need to. Some manager, some lead can tell you, yeah, we need the difficulty to be as similar as this, but a little bit higher, or maybe less, or maybe the optional pass it should be higher than that. You have some reference for it.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of testing with players?
And yeah, that's really important. For me, playtesting is the most important part in balancing difficulty.
Because that's not QA, right? There's something like playtesting. Like you have people playing the game, and you sort of adapt as your game based on how they play. And how does that work?
Yeah, you really need to. There's people specialized on that.
Yeah.
There are roles in some companies that are just people that bring playtesters to play your game, that choose the player, and that's the most important part for me.
It is very important because I guess that most of the players are good. There's going to be a lot of players, right? Yeah. So it's but especially if you think about games like Prince of Persia, for instance, you're going to have potentially millions of people buying the game, and
hopefully.
Hopefully, how do you actually structure your playtest? How do you pick the people? That's a science, right?
The thing is, you need to choose your player, because you cannot say just bring everyone to the office and play, because we have a target audience, and you need to know which type of player are going to be playing your game. You cannot take your mom to play the game and say that's a meaningful playtest. So people that do this job normally choose players. For example, if for Prince of Persia it's an action adventure platformer with combat and with Metroidvania ingredients, we take player that's like Metroidvania, we take player that likes action adventure game, we take more casual players, and we compare each other to see the difference, to see if it's too hard. For a Metroidvania player, a really hardcore player, maybe it's too hard.
It's very hard. Yeah.
But if a casual player is struggling with some parts, maybe it's okay sometimes. So you really need to balance.
Just to explain everyone what we're doing here, we're boiling the water to cook the cime di rapa. Is anyone able to tell me how I say cime di rapa in English, so I can actually make some specific reference to what it is? It's turnip greens. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't.
Then we made the pasta that we'll cut later. Here, what I put is the breadcrumbs with olive oil that we'll put on top in the end. It's going to give a little bit of an extra flavor. I had the garlic done for later, and we should be fine. We do a cooking show, but really one of the things I use English every day for my job. Having knowing specific names of stuff, in the cooking area, I really am very poor at that.
Yeah, there are a lot of names.
Yeah, there are a lot of names. Yeah, a lot of names, and also when it comes to video games, you know all the terms. But that's it's technical terms there too. So we were talking about difficulty, and one element here is that, again, going very technical, but I'd like to sort of understand a bit more. One thing is the overall difficulty of a game. One thing is taking the player into a journey and making things harder as you go. Is that something that when you start working, you just do like a first pass and then you start the rebalancing after? How does it work?
And normally you have to have a brief idea of what you're doing.
Okay.
You need to know where you want to put the most difficult parts, if you want to focus on difficulty here, or maybe it's a narrative part and you just want to have the player doing really simple stuff so they can enjoy the narrative. You have to have an idea before,
Okay,
and then you start to create the parts and you balance. And that's a little bit the idea. And inside the, for example,
you make it very simple. You're making it. It's like I did this in 2 weeks.
No. Not at all. And you were saying, playtests are very important. So in every playtest, the game changes, because there is always something that we can polish a little bit more. Like, okay, this part is really difficult. Maybe we're gonna move it to other place. Maybe this puzzle is really complex, and we need to make it more obvious. Yeah, there are always things to change.
Yeah. I think one of the important elements to also take into account is that as a designer, your decisions are not always the good ones for the players. It's something that we try and keep saying to students as well, which is, you're not making a game for yourself or for you to enjoy. You're making a game for a number of people out there that might think that something enjoyable is different. Did it ever happen that you sort of said you did something that you thought was very, very clever?
Yeah, totally.
And then, that didn't make it to the game? Or?
Totally, 100 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like hard games, hardcore games, hardcore platformers, like Celeste or stuff like that. And sometimes I try to go in that direction, and in the playtest I just see that it's not the direction. If you have your vision, you can try to adapt your vision to the game. Yeah. For example, you cannot put Celeste in Prince of Persia because it's a different game, but you can adapt the idea, and you can do something similar and make pay honor to Celeste, for example, but it's a great game.
The hard part now, Alberto. We have to make the pasta. So we are going to take this. Here it is. Take just a little bit flour. And so because we do only one dish of pasta, we can maybe do 30 orecchiette. Okay. So as I said, orecchietta means small ear, like ear. So we have to give a little bit of the shape of a ear. Because when you cook this fresh pasta, it's only like 2 minutes in the water. So.
Yeah.
So a little bit of olive oil in here, garlic, which I'll break a bit.
The secret of Mediterranean food.
The secret of all Mediterranean food, the garlic everywhere. Alberto, whilst you're doing that, and if you can tell me, what is the thing you're most proud of in the games you've done? Because usually it's the first thing I've done because that's what helps me. But is that the case? Is there something that you think your input changed the experience in the game? Is there something you're very proud of?
Yeah, yes. As you said, the first game is always really important because it's it's a way to access to other places, but also because in this game I had with my colleagues I have the power of decision.
Yeah.
So
do you miss that?
Sometimes, but sometimes I don't.
Okay.
There are a lot of things to manage when you're making a game by yourself. In a bigger company like Ubisoft, you have people that advise you.
Yeah.
Are smarter than me.
And more experience.
More experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't make some mistakes like we made with our first game. But I'm really proud of all the games I made, or all the games I worked on, because I think I learned something from all of them. And talking about input and decisions and all that, in Prince of Persia, you can think that working in Ubisoft, you won't have really an impact on the design.
Yeah.
But in my team and in Ubisoft, you have you feel heard.
Okay.
And you can change the game if your input is good enough. It's always well received.
I think it's really not so much about as you say, it's not about making something that changes the game dramatically. It's more like you've got to feel like you have an impact in what you're doing. So, as you said, you cannot say what you're working on. Are you still working on stuff with with that specifically with your role? Is it you think you're specializing in that, and it's something that you want
I'm
to
still
keep
a level
doing?
designer. I think I will be a level designer for now.
No, it's fine. It's like I like the idea of people enjoying their specialization, because it's it just changes things, right? You've got to be good at something, especially in this market. If you work on big games, yes, you have your big creative directors, you've got like your big roles and big heads and so on, but ultimately it's about very specific things. So
Smaller roles are really hard to do. Also, it's really important that there are like senior level designers, for example, that can teach the juniors.
Yeah.
And that just can show what they learned from the experience, because you can know a lot theoretically, but the experience is something else, and you can learn a lot just from people that has more experience than you.
Yeah. No, the thing is that both when you do indie games and you have your input is like basically 100% of the game success. And when you're doing bigger games, there's very different things to be proud of. And I think, when I look at Prince of Persia, especially for me, I've played it, I've enjoyed it a lot. Mm-hmm. It's like you really feel that, that's why I wanted you in here, because you really feel that the design of the levels is definitely something that makes the game. Sometimes level design really doesn't make the game, it's just an extra little thing.
Yeah, but in Metroidvanias, it's all about the levels.
Yeah.
So the levels are really important, and we really focused on creating really appealing levels and really fun levels.
Yeah.
And really polished levels. When you start to...
How long did it take to make the game?
It's 4 years.
4 years?
4 years since we started to make it.
It's a long time.
I arrived 2 years into the development, so I only worked in the game for 2 years.
4 years to make a game that if you're good at it, how long is a game how long do you finish the game?
Well, I don't really remember, but I think it can be like 30 hours.
Okay, so
like
quite,
30,
quite a long
40
game.
hours.
Quite a long game. Okay, let's try and see if I can make these. Do you want to try? I've done it.
Yeah, I can try.
Okay. Come on.
So it's like this,
Yeah.
and you just do that.
Don't press it too much. Yeah.
Okay.
It's, okay, I'll take another one, and we can team. We can team up on this. Let me try and grab another knife. There it is.
How do you do that? Is it okay like that?
I think it's fine. We're not fussy about shape. It has to taste good, right?
Yeah, that's the important thing.
In your experience, and I think that going back to your original game. Yeah. First of all, what's the name of the game, and where can we find it?
Okay, so the first game I made with some colleagues from university is called Way to Yaatra. Way to Yaatra.
Yaatra.
Like
okay.
it's not a word.
Okay. I was thinking like, what am I?
We made it.
It's like cime di rapa.
Yeah. No, it's a word, I think, in Hindi.
Okay.
But we just added letters there. And you can
How
find
many people work in the game?
We were 4 or 5 at the beginning, and at some point we were like 10 or.
Oh wow!
11.
So it's still a decent amount of people, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of different things you need to do in a game. And, for example, you start with a programmer, a designer, and like the really minimum you need to create a prototype. But when you start to create the real game, you realize you need to do the animations, you need to have audio, but in audio there is music and there is sounds.
Okay. How many people work on the you know, on your area, on the design and you know?
In level design, as we were in a game design university, we were almost everyone was a level designer, game designer. So almost everyone has the chance to create some levels to have an input with the design of the game.
And so you said where can you find it?
On Steam, you can find it on Steam. Way to Yaatra. Just for you to know, it's rough. It's my first game.
It's okay. It's okay. You know, we need to give visibility, right? That's what you say. In the meantime, there's wine in the fridge. Of course, we have to take the wine. It's early in the morning. We're recording, but we'll still take the wine. Yeah, when I lived in France, this they call Charles de Gaulle, because it says Française. Okay. So this is because the recipe is from the very south of Italy. We've chosen a wine from the very north of Italy, from Trentino, Gewürztraminer, which is also a wine from France. You know, the same grapes. We slowly put whatever is cooked. When they start resurfacing, they're cooked. So we'll, you know, keeping the conversation going about level design in general. What, you know, how do you use these days? How does sort of technology has impacted because you say your role has become very technical or is very technical. Is there any, you know, technological advancement that has changed your job or is changing your job, like AI, like generation of content?
Honestly, I haven't worked with this type of technology yet. I think I could work with that in the future, but I cannot say a lot because I haven't worked with it yet. But I think it can help sometimes. But for me, my opinion is that it can help in the beginning of the process.
Okay.
You always have to polish everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you generate something with AI, you always need to really touch
redo it. Yeah. Absolutely.
For me, it's more like a concept thing. If you don't have many ideas or if you don't know in which direction to go.
You haven't tried it yet. No, I think you know it's interesting because as you said, you know the technical bits of what you do are important. So you have to sort of balance all the time. My question is you know related to the fact that you know we keep hearing about the you know how AI is going to change, especially the technical jobs in the future.
Even the artistic one. Right?
Yeah. So you know, because you're doing something that's very much like in the intersection between the two. What it cannot change is gameplay, right? Gameplay innovation is probably far away from being changed by AI. And then last touch, the breadcrumbs we put. We're going to sprinkle over. It doesn't look that bad. We were good, right?
Yeah, looks nice.
And
it smells better.
All right. Okay, so we'll put this here for the cameras. Sorry, they do this in the restaurants, in the proper restaurants. Okay. That's good. So you really cannot tell us what you're working on. I'm joking.
No, I can't. I wish I could, but I can't.
I'm joking. You know, I think that thanks for joining us. Thanks for also taking care of this wonderful game that for me was one of the highlights of the few last years. This was the previous one, which we didn't talk about a lot.
So this is the Nightwitch.
Yeah.
It's a really mix of genres because it's primarily it's a Metroidvania with bullet hell and it's a bullet hell Metroidvania, but you fly because you're a witch, but you also have shoot 'em up mechanics and you also have cards. You have a deck.
Wow!
So it's
there's a driving element too.
And then you take a car and it becomes 3D. No, and it was really a challenge to create levels for this game because there is no reference that you can look to create a Metroidvania, but you fly, but you have cards, but it's a bullet hell. It was really a challenge, but we're really proud of it.
Well, check it out then. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Thanks for joining us, Alberto, and Good luck with your new undisclosed project. Cheers.
Thank you.